Hello. How you doing? Is my mic moving? Yeah, that's moving about. So hopefully you can all hear me. Picture is moving. Good stuff. Looks like we're all good. Good evening. Hope you're all alright. Welcome to Saturday Squirting Live with me. What we're going to do then? What we're going to sort out today? Let's get straight into it, shall we? So we need to come off of this camera and we need to go to just like that. Evening, Dennis. Hope you're doing all right, buddy. So last week we did some blue underpainting for her hair, like we did on the bra strap. Let's zoom in. Good evening, good evening. Hope you're doing alright. So yeah, on the bra strap, we did a blue underpainting and then we faded in some black, and it gave it that kind of sheen, kind of like that you get sometimes when light reflects off of black. So we're going for the same kind of thing with the hair. So we've done a blue undercoat. Come on, camera. Stay where I put you. That's better. So we've done a blue undercoat. Now we're going to go in with some black. And in true me fashion, I'm not prepared. I was frantically cleaning out my airbrush right before the stream even. Can't talk. So for this, good old Createx illustration black, and I'm going to want quite a bit of control over this, so I'm going to reduce it a fair bit. This is where I get it all over my fingers. So I think I'm going to go for something like let's go for a whole 3 drops of the black versus the old illustration reducer. I'm going to do 6 drops of that, I reckon. So twice as much reducer to paint. And then top the rest. That gives me about half a paint cup of paint. You can't see it on camera, but that's about half full. And now top up the rest with good old H2O. Give it a shake, and then away we go. Airbrush till you scream. Sometimes airbrushing can make you scream, especially when you get a blockage. So, oh, fine, thanks, V. Great, you got some work. Yeah, that's very helpful. I haven't earned a penny in 2 weeks, so yeah, I was very grateful to Erin and Heidi down at the Little Scorpions. They own a tattoo shop just down the road from where I used to work. I've been mates with Heidi for ages. She used to airbrush, funny enough. That's how we met. And yeah, been friends with her for a few years now. And we were chatting, and she asked what happened to the shop. I told her, and she was like, well, why don't you come and work down here with us for a while until you guys get a new shop sorted out. So bless her heart. Her and her business partner Erin, they both tattoo down there, and they both welcomed me, bless them. So I will be down there on Monday, stabbing people once again. Okay, so it looks like we're off to a good one. Sometimes when you really reduce the paint, it can come out of the nozzle just when you're pushing the air down, so sometimes you have to watch out for that. But we're all good, so let's get cracking. Good evening, Jesus. Hope you're alright, mate. So it's going to take a few passes to get solid black, because I've reduced the paint so much, but that's what I was after. That's exactly what I wanted. Just go in nice and tight around the edge of the thumb there, just so I don't get too much overspray and cause like a soft focus effect. I do want that a little bit because it's kind of a whimsical fantasy type painting, but not too much. So go in nice and tight around the edges, nice and close, just to get the crispest line I can without having to stencil it off. Sat with the OG Megan right here. Looks amazing, Steve. Yeah, thank you. Flipping Steve. I get called Steve so much. Like, yes, my name's Steve. I don't know how to spell my own name. Right, let's zoom in a bit, see what I'm doing. I'm trying to wobble the camera to make you all sick, because nobody wants that on a Saturday night. So there's lots of dagger strokes, just going backwards and forwards, just to create the texture of the hair. Most of this is pretty black anyway, on the reference photo, so there won't be a lot of detail here. But again, got to go in nice and tight so I don't give a big black eye, because nobody wants that. Airbrush seems to be flowing nicely, because I was worried about a blockage there for a while. I frantically put some 2K thinners in there to hopefully get rid of any paint that was left in it. Because me being me, I didn't clean my airbrush out after last stream. What's it? It's really awesome. I have a guitar I'd like you to paint for me if you would like to. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah, drop me a line if we're not. I don't know if we're friends or not on Facebook. Add me on there. I've got a Facebook page, Svi Art. That'll be easy to find. Or you can track me down on there if we're not friends already. I call myself Alan Svi Wheeler on there. Add me as a friend, or if you follow me on Instagram, shoot me a message on there. Or you can email me directly on svi@sviart.com. So there's loads of ways you can get hold of me. And that's Svi@SviArt, not Steve@SteveArt. Okay. So anyone done anything exciting since last stream? I haven't. I've been sorting out stuff for our new tattoo shop, and generally just bumming about the house, getting some stuff done. Nothing very exciting. I've been 3D printing more of that Zatanna statue. I've got that done. Got all of that printed. I finally got her head done the other day. So that's going to be cool. I got all the bits all laid out on my table over here. So, yes, we are. I'll do that. Awesome. I look forward to reading your message, mate. Our power keeps flickering. I hope that's not anything to worry about. My missus works for Tesco's, and she messaged me and said that they've had no power all day. So if I suddenly disappear, it's either my internet playing up again or my power's gone off, one of the two. I'm actually switching internet provider. I found out the cheeky gits. I was with Sky. Well, I am with Sky at the moment. And the cheeky gits have upped the cost by 30 quid since January. And between now and July, it's going to go up to just over 90 quid a month for our phone and internet. And I was paying 50, so I'm going through the process of changing, because I'm not paying that. Stuff that. That's a good point, actually. What day is the 30th of March? Because that's when I'm switching over. Calendar. 30th. Ah, it's a Wednesday. That's cool. That would have been awkward if it was a Saturday. So I've been helping a mate of 45 years that's been ill. Oh, good for you for helping him out, mate. I hope he's okay. It's nice that they've got you to help out. It's been a good week for my faith in humanity. Erin and Heidi saying that I could tattoo down their shop. And a few other things. So my faith in humanity is definitely taken a good old upping this week. Sometimes you watch the news and everything, you wonder if there's much good left in the world, and then something comes along to just show you that actually, yeah, it's not all doom and gloom. There is still some sweet humanity left in the world. Cool. Wow, that looks really dark on the camera, but there is a little blue left in that, I promise. Zoom out again. Stop the camera from wobbling a bit. That's actually ever so dark, isn't it? Hold on, let me try and change my camera settings. I think I can do that in stream. Can't go into much detail. It was a hospital cock up. Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, don't go into too much detail, but I'm glad he's getting better. There we go, camcorder. If I go to settings, configure video, is that going to crash everything? Who knows? Let's have a look. Ooh, bit too bright. That's better. So we'll apply that. Okay, close on that. We're still working. We're still moving. Yeah, good stuff. Right, so down here is quite bright because the light is coming from up this angle. So there's just a little bit of black down in between the fingers, really. Yeah. Good evening, Steve. Any good news for us? Well, I don't know if you know, but I have a shop to tattoo from until my boss and I get our actual new shop up and running. Which is cool. I haven't won the lottery yet. I did have a haircut. Look, all my hair and me, you can see my chin again. But that's about all the good news I've got for you, really. Not a lot has been happening in the last week. How about you? Anything exciting happening in your life, mate? Good evening, Stephen. Do you know what? I was gonna catch your live stream the other day, and for some reason I got it in my head that you stream at 11 PM UK time. I don't know why the hell I thought that, because that's why I've never really got to catch you live. But now I know that you're actually way earlier than that. You're at like 6 PM or something, aren't you? So your next live stream, it's my mission to actually be there. I look 10 years younger. Thank you. I got rid of that tramp look, you know. I thought I'd better make an effort to go work with Erin and Heidi, you know. Make myself look respectable. Or as respectable as I can, anyway. Okay. So we've got that dark bit there. She's got a little dark bit that goes up here like that. I don't know why I'm talking like that. Can't see much of what's going on there, can you? Here we go. The Beano tramp. Yeah. Just Thursday on Instagram is my GMT friendly feed, 6 PM your time. Right, I will be there, mate. Did you finish that guitar? Are you on to a another project, mate? Good to hear you got somewhere to work. Just got back from Malvern Theatre. Saw the Griff Rhys-Jones. Oh, yeah. Wow. Haven't seen anything of him in a while. God, what was that TV show he used to do with the other guy? I'm having a complete brain fart, but my dad used to love that show. Smith and Jones, that was it. Even to me, you've done something new, remove some fur, your voice is much clearer. Yeah, there's not so much ginger fluff for my voice to get through now. This goes off getting cleared, so back on my stuff. Ah, nice. Ah, so you ship out your clear coating, do you? Yeah, it's much less aggro to get somebody to do it for you, isn't it? Although even after all these years, I still worry about shipping it out to somebody else to clear coat. That's a lot of hours work for somebody to possibly mess up. Not saying they would, but you know, it's always possible. That's why I tended to do my own clear coating, but it's a massive pain in the backside. Although I've been looking at maybe using like resin or polyurethane or something for the clear coating recently, something I can brush on. But I don't know as yet, because my old Shedio is no longer usable, so spraying 2K stuff isn't really a doable thing anymore. Don't want to upset the neighbours, you know. Even if it does smell like pear drops. Move this up a bit. Oh, my camera telling me I haven't got an SD card in it. I know. Bartholomew, good evening, mate. Hope you're well. But that was awesome. So when it comes to this one, I did want to take a chance. Yeah. I also think you can usually do it yourself. Yeah. Tornado Alley is the wrong place to put a shed. Yeah. Yeah. It's normally alright. Normally my shed is protected by a great big tree. But sadly the people whose house is at the end of my garden are currently building a big old extension, and they've chopped the tree down. So my Shedio was open to the elements, and then we had a massive storm, and it peeled the roof off. Well, I say peeled the roof off. The roof is still on, but when the wind blows, it kind of flaps about like that. So what we got on camera, up to the ear. Okay. So behind this ear goes quite dark, as you would expect. And the finger disappears into darkness too. There's some hair that comes up from that index finger up there, but we'll do that in a minute because that's off camera. So we've just got that bit that continues up there, and then that bit joins up with a big bit there. Okay. Good evening, 1956 Willys 4x4. Hope you're doing okay, mate. Going a bit wide. Oh, that's white. Big gob of paint on my needle. That'll do it. That's better. I thought my dog was throwing up, then he was stretching. Because everyone sounds like they're throwing up when they stretch. Sweetie, did you see the photos of the bike I bought? I'm so sorry, mate. You messaged me, didn't you? Like a true tattooist, I never answer my messages. Let's have a look. You're in here somewhere, in this huge, great mess of an inbox. There you are. When did you paint it? You painted it 2 years ago. Ah. That's nice, mate. Yeah, that's lovely, clean work. Nice one. Nice colour too. I like that. How long did it take you? Kevin, nice to see you back on YouTube. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, I did have a bit of a break for a while, didn't I? I just didn't have enough time, basically. My YouTube videos normally take, well, a good few days to film, and then another whole day to edit. And with the tattooing, unfortunately, I just didn't have the time, but I'm making an effort again. I've never had a social life, so I've got nothing else to do with my evenings. It's a bit glary, isn't it? You can't really see what I've done there, can you? You kind of can. Right, time for more motion sickness. Let's move you again. Gearing up. A little bit more. Just like that. Cool. Now that light's blinding me. That's better. So from this bit here, on the old reference photo, we have a bit coming up like that, and it's quite heavily shadowed. Just like so. And then this bit still flows up that way, and the bit under here kind of goes. Hair is kind of like fire. You've got to get the flow of it right, I find. So like this bit here still flows in that kind of direction, but this bit here has a bit that kind of flows that way there, but then here it flows down. So you got to get the flow right, I find. Just like fire, otherwise it looks a bit odd. But during lockdown, I like green painting. It took 3 days. Preparing it took 2 weeks. That's what it's like with guitars, mate. And yeah, the amount of guitars I've done where it took me like 2 or 3 days to do the prep work, and then like a couple of days to paint it, and then a week to do the clear coating. It used to drive me nuts, that waiting around while the clear coat cured, because I don't have an oven, so I had to just wait for it to do its thing. Which is another reason why I'm wondering about the resin, because if you get like a UV resin or something, one, you can paint it on with a brush. Alright, you've still got to flatten, polish it and all that lot, but you know, you'd be doing that with 2K clear anyway to get rid of the orange peel. But the UV resin could cure really, really quickly. And I've got some UV lamps, so that might be the way to go, but I've got to do some more research on it first. Good evening, Ian. How are you doing this evening, mate? Hope all is good. Hope you're having a good Saturday. I always had problems with dust because I used to clear coat in my garage. More for me. No, not at all, mate. I'm totally with you there. I did have a shed at the bottom of the garden that I converted into a spray booth, and yeah, I used to have awful dust problems and insects. Even though it was a closed off shed, I used to get them something rotten. And now I suffer with husky hair because me chuffing husky just drops hair everywhere. Don't you, mate? You make a right mess, don't you? And no matter how hard you try, you always find a husky hair in it. It's like your cups of tea, you know. You make a cup of tea and you're sure there's no hair in it, and then you go to take a swig and there's a husky hair just floating in the top. I've managed to get a premises sort of your works fee. Still in the hands of the estate agents at the moment, mate. But I've got 16 alerts. Am I dropping frames? Drop frame detected 2 minutes ago. I'm dropping frames. Sorry, guys. Hopefully it's not too bad. Where was I? Yes. Our new shop is still in the hands of the estate agents at the moment, but some lovely lasses from down the road who run the other tattoo shop in Eastleigh have very kindly said that I can work in their shop until we've got our shop sorted out, which is really nice of them. So as of Monday morning, I'll have somewhere to tattoo from again. And then hopefully it won't be too long before we've got our shop sorted out. Forgot to thank you for the likes on Facebook. Hey, no problem, mate. How you getting on with that painting? It's coming along nicely so far. I used a 2K aerosol for the lacquer. Yeah, what are they called? Specialist Paints over here in the UK. They do a 2K rattle can, or they did. It's been a good 2 or 3 years since I've bought one, but they used to do a 2K clear in a rattle can, and you just like pull a pin out of the bottom to release both agents in the tin and then give it a bloody good shake, and then you've got something like an hour or two to spray it before it goes off. That was great. It was only like 20 quid a can, so that was a cheap option rather than investing in massive great tins of clear coat and a big spray gun and that lot. It was a good option, that. Like I say, the only downside is that with 2K, of course, you've got to have somewhere proper to spray it. You've got to have the proper protection for you and the environment and everything. So right, this is where her hair kind of changes direction here. Mia, shut up. God's sake. She barks at everybody who goes past the window. So yeah, we've kind of still got the flow going that way, but there are a few bits that go down there. Called it done. Thinking about doing something a little more cheery. I seem to be obsessed with the dark side at the moment. You're not alone, mate. I always start out thinking I need to do something a bit more upbeat and a bit more happy, and like this one. This was just going to be a bit of a moody painting, but still, you know, nothing too macabre or anything like that. And then I was like, do you know what? It'd look really good if she had blood all over her hands. It's funny how our minds work sometimes. Right, so we've done that section. This is how I like to do hair. I just break it up into sections. So we've done that section. Next we'll do that section, and then we'll do that section. Keeps it all manageable, you know. You just take one section at a time. Make sure you keep following the flow of it, and all is good, as they say. I might go in with a paintbrush on the hair at some point, or maybe a pencil, possibly. Just tighten some of these strands up. Although I'm getting pretty damn good detail with this airbrush. You can't beat a pencil or a paintbrush just to really refine some of the hair. Especially when it comes to like strands like that and stuff. So the one I use, blue can. I built a temporary booth in my bike shed. Yeah, cool. Yeah, the only extraction I had in my... I say I converted my shed into a spray booth. Really, all I did was make sure there was no air leaks, and then I fitted a cooker hood, basically. Because that had the carbon filter in it. That disposed of some of the stink. And then I got the, you know, the spray booth filter material. You can buy it in sheets, and it normally goes against the back wall in a booth or whatever. I just got some of that, and I taped it to the bottom of the cooker hood, and that did the job perfectly. I think it took 2 minutes to completely recycle the air in my shed, and my shed was what size was it now? I think it's 12 foot by 8 foot, so it did well. To only take 2 minutes to completely refresh that much air, it did alright. I can't remember who suggested it now. I think it might have been Beej Curtis. We were chatting about it, and he was like, yeah, just get a cooker hood, that'll solve it. And I was like, really? Surely not, you know. It's for cooking, not recycling your clear coat fumes out of the atmosphere, but no, it worked a treat. Still on camera, aren't I? Yep, good. Right, so basically I was going to pitch black all around there. And she's got a bit of a blue highlight just there. And it goes back to black again. And then this bit is pitch black. Okay. Great detail, I'm surprised you can do that with a side feed. Practice, mate. and a lot of reduction. Problem is, all the best stuff is macabre. It seems to have the most impact. Yeah, it does have quite a big following at the moment. Everyone's got a dark side, haven't they?
What did Mia do? What did Mia do?
Oh, she's just barking, mate. I'll steal your idea. I use a cooker head now. So long as you don't do heavy sprays, things are fine. Yeah, exactly that, mate. It's as long as you don't overwork it. I mean, all I ever clear coated was a guitar, so it could handle the fumes from that, no problem. It was only ever like maybe an hour tops spraying to do a guitar. So yeah, it handled that, no worries. We may not actually, buddy. Mum said that Tesco's haven't had any power at all. So they've all the milk's off, basically anything in the fridge. She's currently throwing it all away. So we may not get any milk tomorrow. Sorry, just chatting to my son. Yeah, we may have to go downtown and do an emergency milk run. Yeah. I mean, the small ones wear brush in the house, but the compressor is too loud. Yeah, some compressors are really noisy, aren't they? And not everyone can afford like £600-700 for like the big ones with the fridge motors on them. I'm really chuffed that I spent the money on one. As I mentioned on a previous stream, you know, mine's still going strong and it's nice and quiet. But you get the little like Spa Max quiet ones, the little tiny ones, or the Iwata ones, the ones with a little tank on them. The only downside is that they have a tendency to overheat sometimes. Maybe.
Because I don't know how long I put it into the microwave for.
Oh, Caitlin will know. She's like the Chicago town pizza master, she is. She'll be able to tell you how long you put it on for. Good evening, John. Hope you're alright, buddy. All good here, thank you. Mine's held up by 2 L brackets and some guitar string. Guitar string has a multitude of uses, especially for unblocking blocked paint bottles and stuff like that. I always keep a bit of guitar string handy. Really? I think it's about 3 minutes. Let's have a look. You know it's bad when you Google how long to microwave a Chicago town pizza for. How long do you microwave helps if I can type. How long do you microwave a Chicago town pizza? There we go. Hey, I got it right. 3 minutes, mate.
You're more of an expert than Cleveland. I reckon I might have to go in for longer than 3 minutes. It's frozen solid.
I'll give it 3, so what happens. I've had a small Sparmax compressor for years. Just keep a fan directed on it. Do you know what? I used to do exactly the same. I've got, I don't know who makes it. I think it was one of the Sparmax's very, very early compressors. But you've got it's a dual motor, so it's got like one of those little compressor motors, one on one end, one on the other, and they're facing each other, bolted, and then it's got a 2-litre tank, and it's all in like this L-shaped frame, and I just got a household fan and attached that to it, blowing down on the motors, and that thing would just keep going and going. It was superb, and it fitted perfectly in one of those makeup artist trolleys. I used to have a makeup artist trolley. In fact, if I switch camera to that one, yeah, we have. You can just about see it just behind me down there. Just behind the Saturday Squirtin Live logo, just down there. That's what I used to take to all the airbrush conventions, and that compressor fitted in that perfectly. It was great. I'm the guy that used guitar strings to cut windscreens out of cars. Wow, see? Loads of uses. I've never heard them being used for that, but yeah, I suppose it would work, wouldn't it?
We got 2 more.
Have we?
Yeah.
No. Okay. Probably my bright light.
Swallowing something there. Are you trying to bite it?
He'll never get it. Not quite sure what to paint after I finish this one. I really need to get that Big Trouble in Little China guitar going, so I guess I should do that. I've kind of been holding off because I didn't know what to do about the clear coat. Last thing I wanted to do was finish the painting on it and not have any method of clear coating it, but I suppose it's going to take me hours to finish that one. And there's that as well. It's going to take me so long to paint that. It's going to be like stream after stream after stream, and it's like, would my viewers eventually get bored? Like, oh, he's doing that guitar still. So that's kind of why I've been holding off a bit on that. But I really need to get it done. Although saying that, Dennis, you say that you want me to do a guitar for you, so that could feature on the streams, maybe.
doing another 30 seconds because it lets it stand for a minute and the cold's still frozen.
Yeah,
Still frozen.
they do suffer with a cold middle, don't they?
I don't know why it's always the middle that's cold.
Ah,
I'm guessing it's where the heat less travel, but
maybe.
it's still surprising how cold it is after a minute of standing.
Cool. Got the old airbrushers cramp a lot tonight. My joints are getting old. Or I'm holding my airbrush too tight, one of the two. Subject is 2 motorbikes under a rising sun sky. Ooh, sounds cool. You always have a challenge when it comes to guitars because you've got the pickups right in the middle of your artwork. What guitar is it, Dennis? Is it a Strat or a Telecaster or something? How old are you, Svi? Physically or mentally? Mentally, I'm about 5. Physically, I'm 45 in May. What do you mean, true? Yeah, I'm 45 this May. Why do you use water as well as reducer when mixing paint? It's just so that I don't lose the paints. What's the term? I don't screw the paint up, basically. It doesn't really matter that much when you're working on paper, but if you someone once described it to me as if you imagine paint being marbles in a bowl of water, and the paint pigment, so the colour, is the marbles, and the water is the carrier. If you just keep adding more and more water, the marbles spread further and further apart, and then you end up losing the paints. It screws it up, basically. And if you use the proper reducer, it kind of helps to keep those marbles binded together. It doesn't lose its structure, if you know what I mean. So that's why I use... I mean, I probably screw it up anyway with the amount I reduce, but that's why I use a bit of the actual reducer rather than just pure water. Plus, I live in a hard water area, so there's a lot of chalk in my water. My God, his pizza smells amazing. That's not fair. Trick happy finger grip, if I'm not mistaken. Steve Lee uses them too. It's a Japanese Strat. Ah, cool. So yeah, with a Strat, you'll have the issue of the great big scratch plate. It's like some Strats are like solid wood underneath. You know, you take the scratch plate off and you've got solid guitar underneath, so you can decide whether you want the scratch plate on there or not. Others, you take the scratch plate off and there's just no guitar underneath. It's just a massive great cavity. So Strats are always an interesting one. I did one for a client once that was it had wood underneath the scratch plate. You remove the scratch plate and you could keep it off if you wanted, but he couldn't make his mind up if he wanted the scratch plate or not, and he asked me to paint the scratch plate and the guitar underneath so he could choose which one he wanted. That was a pain in the butt. Youngling. I don't feel it sometimes, Steve. We have hard water also. We have to cut ours with a chainsaw. Yeah, there's no soil here whatsoever. It's like our house was built on a flipping chalk quarry. Tell you what, going on about grips, I always remember Beach, going back to Beach Curtis again, he it was made me chuckle. He had this bit of foam that he kind of put in here, because the poor guy had rotten carpal tunnel in his hand, and he had like this bit of triangular foam that he put in here that was covered in masking tape and a bit of cloth and all that lot. It looked like the most peculiar thing you've ever seen in your life, but he let me use his airbrush once with it on, and it felt amazing. It really supported your hand. I was quite surprised. But all it was a little, if I remember rightly, it was a bit of foam out of one of his old sofas or something, wrapped up in masking tape to get the shape right, and then a little bit of cloth, and yeah, it did the trick. It was really good. It's funny how little things you just bodge together can make all the difference. I've never really needed a grip much. I tend to get, if I'm getting carpal tunnel, I get it under my watch strap, like down my wrist in here, or on the other side, just past that bony bit that's under your watch. That's where I tend to get the pain, and I get a numb ring finger. Sometimes I can't feel my ring finger. But I've never really suffered with it anywhere else. And funny enough, since starting tattooing, I've mentioned it in the live stream before, once I started tattooing, it cured it. I used to have something rotten in my ring finger. I'd wake up every day and couldn't feel my finger at all. Since I started tattooing, it's cleared right up. Probably all the vibrations. All the vibrations from the tattoo machine increasing blood flow into my hand or something like that. I was just going to say paint the scratch plate. That's cool. Yeah, when I'll have a look when I get it, Dennis. See if there's any guitar underneath the scratch plate. Normally with the Jap Strats, there isn't. It's just a big cavity, but we'll have a look. Most of the tattoo artists I know ride motorcycles. You got one? Do you know what? I used to be in a bike club, and a lot of my friends are motorcyclists, and obviously being an airbrush artist, I've always been in the motorcycle scene, you know, painting bikes and that lot for people. But I've never owned one, and I've never ridden on one. Not through choice. Things have just worked out that way. I mean, I'm crap on a push bike, so I'd probably be even worse on a motorbike. I mean, I haven't been on a push bike for 20 years. I'm getting a bit of overspray here with the black, but that doesn't matter too much. I'll be very careful not to get too much of it on the skin, but up here doesn't matter because we've still got to paint the background. Sidecar club, yeah. Yeah, if I had a motorbike it would have stabilisers on it, definitely. Or a sidecar, because that's basically one big stabiliser, isn't it? Or I could just get a trike. Trouble is, if I had a bike, I wouldn't know what to paint on it. Obviously, you know, being an airbrush artist, I would have to airbrush it. You know, it could not have just a plain bike, but I wouldn't be able to make my mind up what to paint on it. I'm the same with tattoos. That's why I don't have that many on my arms. Because I just can't make up my mind. And last thing I want to do is get something that I'm going to end up regret getting, so I tend to just leave it. Plus it hurts. We've got 8:10 already. Blimey. That's my chair creaking, by the way. Honest. Right, do I risk it and airbrush this tiny little earring she's got, or do I use a paintbrush? Stuff it. Let's risk it. This is when my airbrush spits and this stream suddenly becomes 18 rated. Concentration face. I used to spray all my mates' bikes up when I was about 19, but stopped because nobody wanted to pay what it's worth. Yeah, that's kind of why I got out of the guitars, to be honest. Because it sounds like I'm blowing my own trumpet. I don't mean to, but because I made a bit of a name for myself doing the guitars, I started to attract more of the collector rather than the guitar player. So a lot of my clients were getting guitars painted, but they were just for display, so it was like serious, detailed artwork that was just going to sit in a display cabinet. And yeah, I was charging like, I don't know, what was I getting, about £500-600 per guitar at one point, and then that stopped. And the people who have got like the £100-200 guitars, they just don't, they're not going to pay £500-600 for a paint job on a £200 guitar, you know. But I would spend like 200-300 hours on a guitar, something like that, which, you know, isn't, it's alright if you're doing it for the art collector kind of thing, but you kind of have to, what's the term, you kind of have to spec the job for how much it's worth. Kind of like tattooing, you know. It's, if someone's got a £200 guitar and they come to you and they say, I want this painted on it, if you look at it and you think that's going to take 200 hours, then you're going to have to try and simplify it and come up with some sort of compromise for them that they're willing to pay, but you're not doing yourself out of any money and end up working for 50p an hour, which I did a lot of the times on the guitars I painted, which is kind of why I went away from it. I was contemplating moving away from the airbrushing when my tattooing apprenticeship came along, so it kind of gave me the nudge to leave the airbrushing behind a bit. Plus the fact that my kids were starving, you know. That's always a good incentive to go get a proper job, if you can call tattooing a proper job. Mate of mine just painted a VW Bug trike Knights Templar theme. It looks, oh, that sounds awesome. I've always liked the Knights Templar type stuff and all that. $300 hours can seem like a lifetime. It can. Some of you might know it. That Appetite for Destruction Telecaster I painted all those years ago. I went nuts on that. I ended up earning about 20p an hour on that, with the amount of hours I spent on it. But that was one of those projects that comes along once in a blue moon, you know. The original artist gave me his blessing, and he wanted pictures of it when it was completed. So it was like a job like that, you're like, you know, sod the money, you know, this is about doing a damn good job on this. And yeah, he was full of nothing but praise when I sent him the picture of it. I never actually spoke to the original artist, but I spoke to the gallery that was representing him, and they said that he absolutely loved it. So that was a real ego boost, that one. Heard from that guy a while ago, actually, not that long ago. The customer, he said he still got it. said he's scared to play it, so it just sits in the display cabinet. Was that the one with the Jaguar S? No, mate. That was really sad. That one, the one with the Jag. Yeah, a chap contacted me. His father had just passed away, and he wanted a tribute guitar for his dad. And his dad's favourite car was the old Inspector Morse Jag, and his favourite car, his son's favourite car, was the newer Jaguar. So I came up with that paint job for it, and yeah, that was a sad story behind that one. The client said that he can't get it out much because every time he does it, he just breaks down. Bless him. Haven't spoke to him in a few years now, actually. That was a little while ago, that one. But yeah, very sad story behind that. Yeah, I've had a few people ask me if I can replicate the Appetite for Destruction guitar. But of course, I only have permission to do the one, so it's a big fat no. Plus, with the amount of hours it took, I'd have to charge a couple of grand for the paint job. Cool beans. Right. That looks pretty good for her hair. Let's zoom you out. Yeah, that's quite cool. I'm quite pleased with that. Maybe up here is still a little bit too blue. That's a bit better. Cool, right. So, there is a shadow from her hair. Goes across like that. Her nose piercing is a black ball. Just leave a little highlight in there. Nice work. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that. So she's got black eyeliner on, but if I go in with straight black, would that look a little odd? Would it be a bit too stark. Stuff it. Let's give it a go. What's the worst that can happen? That's alright, that's cool. Will you be doing tats again? Yes, mate. Yeah, I've not given up on the tattoos. It's just that we sadly got evicted. But yeah, I've got a temporary shop to work in as of Monday, still in Eastleigh, and my boss and I are sorting out a new shop to work from. In the meantime, it's in the hands of the solicitors and the estate agents at the moment. But yeah, I'm not giving up on the tattoos because it pays better than the airbrushing. That was when I first started airbrushing and watching your videos. Ah, that's cool. Yeah, that was a little while ago, that one. Right, now she's got quite a dark eye socket, but I don't want to use just black because that's going to make her look really muddy, which is the last thing I want, so I'll probably mix some black with it, the flesh tone. And my dog is pacing around going nuts, so I think he wants to go out. So you'll have to excuse me a moment because I can't just let him out because we have no garden fence thanks to the people doing the extension. So kill that moth. Give me a second. I'm just going to take the dog out. I'll be 2 minutes, alright? Okay, toilet broke over. Right, so where were we? And the Hendrix. Oh yeah, the Hendrix Strat. That was one of those ones that was a real simple one to actually paint. It was a good guitar though, because I scored it for, what was it? It was about 50 quid on a local selling site, and it was listed as a Japanese Strat, and I just got it just for something to paint. But when I looked up the serial number, it was one of the very first ones to come out of the Mexican factory. The very first month it opened, and if you know your Strat history at all, when they first opened the budget Stratocaster factory in Mexico, all their bodies and necks and parts and all that lot were delayed. They didn't have any, so Fender took a hit, and the first few thousand guitars that came out of the Mexican factory were actually made with the really expensive Fender Stratocaster parts, and that guitar was one of them. So although it was a Mexican Strat, sorry I said a Jap Strat, didn't I? Yeah, it was a Mexican Strat. It was actually made with all the more expensive Fender Stratocaster parts. So that was a good guitar, that. The lad who bought it got an absolute bargain. But he was a young lad, and I couldn't charge him any more than a couple £100. So he got a good deal out of me there. There's any mix Strats. Yeah, they're really nice, aren't they? I got hold of it and I played it, and I was like, you know, this is a really nice guitar. You know, when you play something and it just feels really nice, and it's like, this doesn't feel like a budget Strat. And then looked up the serial number, and lo and behold, it was one of the first ones from the Mexican factory. And did a little bit more digging and found that story out about them not having the parts for the first few months. So the first few thousand from the Mexican factory are actually proper Fender Stratocasters, even though they've got the Mexican badge on them. I did want to keep that one, but I needed money as well. My son told me the same thing. He's a drummer come guitarist. Ah, cool. Getting near time to do these tattoos, I suppose. That's going to be fun. I want to airbrush them so that it's got that soft edge to it, because all of Megan's tattoos are, well, I say relatively old. I mean, I was tattooing her Nightmare Before Christmas sleeve. I've been doing that for about 5 years. So they're not fresh, so the edges aren't crisp. So that's why I want to airbrush it, so you get that soft edge. But if I spit, well, if the airbrush spits, if I spit, it won't be a problem. But if the airbrush spits while I'm doing that, that's going to be a disaster on that flesh tone. But hey ho. So we are going to need stuff. Let's start them now. Why not? Let's fly by the seat of our pants. What have we got? 8:30. Okay. make sure there's no tip drive. Let's zoom in so you can really see me mess this up. Zoom. Stop the bobble, like that. I cringe at myself for some of the nice guitars I should have kept. Me too, mate. I have had some beautiful guitars over the years. And I've sold a lot of them. The only one I've got left is my mummy. That one there. That's my one and only, well, other than the Appetite for Destruction guitar that's hanging up there in bits, those are my only 2 electric guitars that I've got left. And that one is an absolute beauty. That's an ESP M2. Cost about 1,200 quid. And then I painted it, so now it's worth about £5. Okay, let's do this. So yeah, we've got a black outline. It's basically cartoony, so it's a black outline with a little bit of shading in the middle. Okay, here we go then. Phew. Bit of tip joint. And breathe. Yeah. It's a good job we haven't got a face cam on here because my concentration face is ridiculous. A little bit of spidering, but that's alright, we can cover that up. It's only a little bit. Not perfect, but it will do the job. Every time your compressor kicks on, I think it's mine. That used to make me jump for years because it goes with a clunk. when it turns on and when it turns off. It's pretty silent otherwise, but yeah, for years and years that made me jump. You would have thought you would get used to it after a while, but for some reason I didn't. And it was only when I was in the shed with it as well. Since I've been back in my... well, I'm in my front room at the moment. Since I've been back indoors with it, it doesn't make me jump. Now I've said that, the next time it turns on, I'm going to jump out my skin, aren't I? Weather is looking good in the UK this week for a change. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Today was gorgeous. Still a little bit nippy, but yeah, today was really spring-like, which was nice. I hate the cold. I can't stand being cold. So yeah, it made a nice change walking the husky today and actually not wearing a coat. Now, what's she got in the way of shading on these? So, we have a little bit of shading around there. Yeah, me too, Dennis. I'm not a fan of the cold, but being, I wouldn't say ginger. I'm a fake ginger. I'm just fair haired. Being fair haired, I can't go out in the sun. I just burst into flames. Oh, sorry to hear that, Brian. Hope your tummy's better. You take care, mate. Fake ginger. Yep. That's me. I'm a pretend ginger. I get a ginger beard, but my hair is actually, I don't know. It's not orange, that's for sure. Just going more grey at the moment. Oh, hunger. Oh, that's all right then. I thought you were ill. I thought you was poorly. Yeah, go get some food, mate. Food is good for you. If you could make a safe permanent ink, airbrushing tattoos could be the next thing. Yeah. If you could, yeah, like a henna or something like that. We get an ink that would absorb into the skin and stay put. And that'd be handy, because I've always said I wish to God I could tattoo like I can airbrush. I've always liked the old body paint. I used to dabble in that for a while. I've always had fun doing the old body paint photo shoots and stuff like that. Photoshop ginger. Totally. Certainly easier airbrushing this tattoo than it was to actually tattoo it on her arm, that's for sure. Invent one like the makeup spray on gadget using the Fifth Element. Yeah. God, Fifth Element. I haven't watched that film in years. A very young Chris Tucker and that, isn't there? In fact, I think that might have been his first movie. I could be wrong, but I think that might have been his first ever movie. Damn it, spit. That's alright, we can hide that. And I've gone off camera. Sorry, I didn't realise. Come on, camera, sort yourself out. There we go. Little did you know you'd be doing this tattoo twice. Yeah, I didn't actually realise that. It took me 5 years to get it finished the first time. It's very nice. Nearly time already. Is it nearly? Oh, blimey, look. Crikey. 4 minutes to 9. Must be having fun. I'll be in touch about the guitar very soon. Yeah, send me a message whenever you're ready, mate. I'm not going anywhere. Be good to flex the old guitar muscles again. Cool. Nine o'clock. I'll keep going for a bit. The missus doesn't get home till about 10 past, so. Why are you getting all spitty now? Oh, tip dry. Good old tip dry. Here we go, look, there's a nice big spit. Luckily it's on quite a dark bit, so I'll be able to hide that. Has this guy got black eyes? Yes, he has. It's like being an ASMR. Loads of people have said that. ASMR airbrushing. Maybe I should start advertising it as that. Squirting ASMR style. Right, that little dude there hasn't got a lot of shading in him, it's just a little bit on this side. Just like that. Make a fortune. That would be nice. Been trying to make a fortune for many years. Hasn't worked yet. I'll start up an OnlyFans, that'll do it. I'll be rich in no time then. A fake ginger OnlyFans. Yes, real stuff. I'm still on camera there? Yep, good. You always tell when I'm concentrating because I go quiet. Typical bloke, I can't multitask. Lots of spider in this bit in now. What we got? 10 past. Just outline his face, and then I guess we should call it quits. If my airbrush would stop spitting. See, even my airbrush is telling me it's time to quit. Come on, airbrush, just this little bit here and then we're done. Cool, I think that'll do it. Let's zoom out. Zoom. Adjust the angle a bit. So there we go. We got loads done today. All that hair, and then started on the old tattoos. They're looking quite cool. Quite pleased with how that's coming out. I wasn't sure about using just black on the tattoos, but no, that worked well. Unshuffle that. Right, let's put that there. Cool. I think you can be excused. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's go to that one. Just like that. And yeah, okay. Cheers for joining me, guys. It's been fun. Thanks for keeping me company. I will be back next Saturday, 7 PM GMT, and we'll carry on with this and see if I can completely destroy her arm with some spits from the airbrush. So yeah, take care, and I will see you guys next week. See you later. Now, which one of these was my end stream? There's the wife. See you later.